Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manish. I represent Recordent. We are a 6-year old company that is okay. Hello, everyone. Hello again. So my name is Manish. I represent Recordent. I had the products at Recordent, and we are into the problem. We are into solving the problems of risk and receivables, which is one of the largest challenges faced by MSMEs in the country. Now, just to give you a little bit of an insight on the magnitude of the problem, as you can see, in India, we have about 77.16 crore MSMEs, right? And of them, the majority, as you can see, is the micro enterprises. And the the amount which is just logged as stuck payments, right, which is a payments that does not go back to the micro enterprises or small medium enterprises, that is 10.7 lakh crore. Now this amount is stuck as payable to all these micro enterprises, and there is no solution that is addressing this challenge, right? If you can see the statistics, about 2.16 lakh cases are just lying unattended, or just prolonged with the Samadhan portal, and that alone accounts for 48,000 crore of unpaid invoices. Moreover, the NPA, the gross NPA alone accounts for 4%, which is one of the largest in the world, right? And as you can see, what it leads to is that just as of 31st December, right, as of Jan 31st, about 32,000 MSMEs have shut down only due to distress, cash distress. And this is the official number. The unofficial number is really, really high. So as we dive deeper into solving this, we figured out that there are a host of problems. While there are various factors which are not controllable in nature, there are controllable factors which, if MSMEs could take control of, they would be able to solve their late payment challenges. So the very first thing we understood, that before extending credit, the problem today is there is a very informal way of actually assessing the credit of your of your customers, of your borrowers. So that is really informal, and in general, when you deal with MSMEs, you just try to get to know about them by going to the market, speaking to a few people, but there's no formal way through which businesses actually evaluate how their borrowers, how their customers, how credit worthy they are, right? And there is no concept of actually getting to know the business performance, business resilience, because in general, these I mean, the suppliers do not really go to the customers and say that you have to share your financials with me, you have to share your balance sheets with me, or share your GST filing behavior and status reports. So that practice as such does not exist. So that also adds up to the fact that the credit worthiness is actually unassessed. So this is one of those factors which can be controlled, and this is what we are talking, which is just before extending credit. But if you see, right after extending credit, there are again a host of problems. Today, all the processes that are being followed, not all the processes, but majority of the processes that are being followed by a lot of these MSMEs are non-structured. There is a lot of inefficiencies in their processes. A lot of time the practices that they also implement are ineffective, and that one of the things that really happen, and what these MSMEs juggle between, is constant chasing of collections. So as an MSME owner, as a finance owner, if you constantly chase collections, right, while we understand that a lot of time has to be, I mean leverage, debt or leverage is the way to grow, but if you spend majority of your time in just chasing collections, then it is also going to derail you from the path of growth. And that is another problem which we have seen when we talk about MSMEs who struggle after extending credit. And the third and very less spoken about aspect is the cash flow risk monitoring, right? While from as a general practice, a lot of these small entrepreneurs, they check the cash flows at the end of a specific period, let's say a fortnight, a month, sometime 2 months, or actually look at it only when they start seeing there's a problem with my cash flows. I'm unable to meet some of my payable requirements, right? And there is no practice as such where they continuously monitor how their cash flows are performing, where they try to understand, where which of their borrowers, which of their customers are actually getting riskier. And there is no real time data that flows into their systems or into their mobile phones, into their ecosystem, so that they can actually take credit decisions when they are supposed to be taken. So we figured out that these are the three problem areas which are controllable in nature, as against various other problems that may also impact the late payment challenges. And that's where we came. We try to build a complete end-to-end suite of solutions which can help them manage their credit risk, help them manage their collections, the payment recovery, and in the end, build that analytics, have access to the analytics that can help, that can stitch all this data together and help them take a look at their financial, performance, so that relevant steps can be taken. So as you can see, here is the end-to-end, the credit to cash cycle management that we at Recordent are trying to help MSMEs get access to. It starts right here with the credit check, where right from onboarding your buyers, your borrowers, you can do a host of checks, which is, again, as I take you through, I'll explain through not just the credit bureau checks, but also the MFI related debt consumption which has happened, checks around that, the business resilience checks. So whatever data which is accessible through publicly available sources, through regulatory sources, we try to get that data and paint a picture about the credit worthiness of your buyer and borrower. And as you progress, once you start giving out, your customers, let's say, the goods on credit, or you give loans, then how you can also manage your invoices, how you can manage your payments, how you can get access, how your buyers can also get access to some of the key aspects, like what is their payable to you. So one of the things that we often talk about when we talk about a product is that every time, let's say, as a supplier or as a lender, if you onboard, right, each borrower that you add, each customer that you add, gets an access to their own payable dashboard, right, which is at the click of a button, they can log into a system absolutely free of cost, get an entire insight into what exactly are they payable, are they supposed to pay to you as a supplier, as a lender, and then and a host of solutions which include dispute management, sharing ledger statements, committing to the promise to pay. So often some of these solutions are available with the larger players, right? So ever since we started, we were on a mission to transform this cash flow problems for the MSMEs, and we have built for the MSME stack, right? And then as we progress, let's say you lent, and then there are always willful defaulters. Now today, how do you get access to solutions to create a buzz around, or at least inform them about their pending payments to you, and take legal recourse? So how do you begin that? So there also we fairly automated the journey to the extent that you can send out dunning notices, which can be completely automated in your business workflow. So let's say, if your customer is a 30-day or 60-day past due, you can automate your workflows in such a way that a warning notice goes to them, and the moment they cross a 60-day past due, you can send them a legal notice. All of this automated, fully automated, sent through all the channels where your customers are or the borrowers are available, including SMS, WhatsApp, email, and AI calls, right? So we try to do that. And lastly, as you see, the analytics, which I was talking about, and this is one of the products that we recently launched, is an advanced cash flow analytics, which actually stitches data that flows across the system and gives you a complete picture of your sales, your collections, your collection team's performances, your business performances, how your recovery is actually working out, which of your customers are becoming credit worthy, are actually declining in their credit behavior, and a whole lot. And this is absolutely real time, based on the system, based on the data that flows into your system at any moment, right? So, and this is what I was talking about, right? The first is the advanced credit assessment, where I was talking about what do we offer. So for the B2C side, as I said, there are Equifax reports, but then there is a lot more information that we've pulled from alternate sources. One of the issues is a lot of times you end up having customers who are fraudulent in nature. So we check for every customer, for every borrower. You can actually check whether there are any cyber fraud cases against them, whether they are what their aggregated digital footprint is like, and if based on customer segments, do you want to check whether they were employed in the past, whether they are currently employed, and so on and so forth. So there's a host of insights that you can get from there. On the B2B side, right, that's where, while you have the credit bureau reports, but we get you a deep dive into their business intelligence, right? We get you that information where if you want to understand how their GST filing behavior, EPFO filing behavior, court cases, and so on, and if your customers are willing to give consent, then we also actually get you information which is as deep as who are their counterparties, what is the stability of their counterparties, which means if your businesses, if your customers counterparties are actually credit worthy, then there is a higher likelihood that your customers will be credit worthy, right? So the propensity to pay, the counterparty stability, and the whole lot of trend as to how their revenues, sales, and all of them are performing, right? And then what we've introduced also, the risk arc, which is basically a solution which is most important for various industries, right? From let's say banking, for agriculture, and I'll shortly speak about it. So we'll get there in about a couple of slides from now, right? So that was the advanced credit assessment. Now we're talking about accounts receivable management. So as you can see, we as a platform sit at the center. On one end are your suppliers, or let's say if you are the supplier or you are the lender, then you're there at one end where you get all the AR data from your customers. They can plug in their AR data into your account through various ERP integrations, through bulk uploads of flat files, and so on and so forth. And you can automate the entire cycle, right? From sending reminders, metering your credit exposure limits, sharing ledgers, so that you can create a constant visibility of the payables for your customers. At the same time, your customers on the other end, as I said, they have access to a host of solutions, right? From promising payments, if there's a dispute, raising disputes, making payments, and again, creating a visibility for you as to when are they going to pay. So this constant visibility of receivables and payables, and the kind of reminders, notices that the system send, helps create an ecosystem where the buyers try to become a little more responsive to the seller's reminders and try to pay relatively better on time. And coming to the next, which is the payment recovery, as I was speaking about a couple of minutes back. Here is where we have the caution notices and the legal notices, which are completely automated, fully integrated into your business workflows as per your needs. And the advanced cash flow analytics. Now, this is where I wanted to spend a little more time about risk arc. Now, this is one of our proprietary solutions, which recently we had the privilege of discussing this with the RBI and the fintech department of the RBI. Now, one of the key challenges for lenders. In fact, let's talk about agriculture as a segment, as a sector as well, right? So we have a lot of FPOs, and FPOs deal with farmers, and then we have a lot of lenders, and then banks who want to lend to these FPOs, right? One of the challenges is how do you assess the credit worthiness? How do you also make sure the NPAs are really low, right? Because in India, if you just take a number, the very recent number is of NPAs is that there is a 6.2% of NPAs, which is highest by any standard, right? Which is in the agriculture segment. Now, coming to the solution that we're talking about. So here, as risk arc, what we propose is that let's say if you're a lender, right now you onboard your customers, and at the time of onboarding, our Recordent engine gets the AR data of your customers, let's say in this case the FPOs or other agri entities, and we tell you based on various parameters how exactly they are performing as is, right? After that, once they have lent the amount, right, lend various loans, you also try to get the information of how the cash flows are coming in from the FPOs, and at the same time you also derive a lot of insights from how their farmers are performing, because their farmers are onboarded onto their accounts, their systems, right? The idea is that Recordent at the center, which sits at the center, gets information from the FPOs, gets information from their farmers, gets information from the lenders, and tries to put together a clear picture, clear picture for not just the lenders, but also because all of these farmers and these FPOs are using Recordent engine. The engine itself does a host of things, right from sending reminders to nudging them to make payments, to send them warnings when they are actually delaying their payments, and trying to make them more creditworthy. The idea is that if your borrowers are able to manage their collections better by using Recordance engine, then the likelihood of their payment to you increases. And as a lender, if that increases, then your chances, your the rate of NPA, it goes down, right? So this is what is one of the solutions that we have proposed. It's fully integrable. So if, let's say, if you want to do a POC, we can start right away. You can onboard your FPOs on one end, you can onboard lenders on one end. We can help lenders get to know the credit check of their FPOs manage their collections better, and therefore create that credit worthy ecosystem of FPOs and the lenders, right? So this is about risk arc, which can also be extended to various use cases. So that's more, that's broadly about us. We are, as I said, we are a 6-year-old company. We have 11,500 plus businesses who are using our platform, and we are here to solve the cash flow and credit risk challenges. That's about it. Thank you very much for being patient to listen. Any questions? Hi. Yeah.
Don't pay by 45 days. Report to the commissioner, and they can take action.
Right.
Have you done anything to see the big buyers' behavior? It's not changing at all. The top names, you can call the top industrial groups: Reliance, L&T, Birlas. They are not paying between 45, 60 days. They're going beyond 90 and 100. So what are you doing about it? One is that. Secondly, you are talking about a lot of information available to you. It's going to be restricted under DPDP Act and the rules, though it is a business information, unless you have a specific consent for the purpose that you are using. It's going to be highly granular, and just a week back it has been released. How are you going to meet that now? Most of the information is going to be like, identifiable information, and you have to take a consent.
Yeah, I'll answer the second one first, because one of the things that we've implemented right from beginning is if you need access to a lot of identifiable information, it has to go through consent. Just like your credit bureau checks go through consent. If I need to dive deeper into your GST analysis, GST 3B, your entire sales purchase behavior, you need to give me consent. If you want me to dive deeper into, let's say, into your own cash flows, your accounting systems, it obviously comes through consent. So yes, while we are yet to study and analyze the entire impact of that,
that consent can be limited. If I'm a Trant guy, I'm going to stop that consent, right?
You can revoke, obviously, yeah. But at least it serves the point in time use case where the assessment has to be performed. But I understand that it can be revoked as per the guidelines. But yeah, we've implemented these checks and balances to ensure that whatever data we fetch and provide is based on consent. One of the other things is, if somebody does not give you a consent, then as a let's say a lender or as a seller, you get to decide now. You get to choose now. Is there something wrong? Why, because of which you're not getting consent, or is that altogether a different problem? So as I said at the right beginning, what we are also trying to solve is some of the controllable aspects of the entire problem space, because there are a lot of uncontrollable aspects, and which brings me to the first question. This week, these big players. I think it's the government that has to step forward and do right. And if you just see Samadhan, as I presented, 2.16 lakh cases are still open, right? Open for several days. Nobody looks at them. So when I think such smaller things are unattended, the larger problems, I think there has to be an action which is taken by the regulator, by the government. And very frankly, we haven't done anything specific in this area.
Bank payments are going beyond 6 months.
Okay. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thanks.